It is 6 a.m., and a man is sitting alone in his garage, engine off, radio off, just staring at the hood of his car like it owes him an answer. He is not going anywhere. He does not need to touch anything. He just needed to sit there before the world woke up and started asking things of him. This is not about the car. It never was.
Every car guy you have ever met is telling you something about himself without saying a word, and most of them do not even know they are doing it. Watch closely enough, and the garage becomes a confession booth with better lighting. Take the JDM guy first, the one who lowers his Civic until it scrapes every speed bump in the city, who spends more on a body kit than the car originally cost.
People call it style. It is not style. It is control. Somewhere along the way, this person learned that the world does not listen to him unless he is loud about something. Maybe he was overlooked as a kid, the quiet one in a house full of louder siblings, the one whose achievements got skipped over at dinner. So he builds a machine that cannot be ignored. The exhaust note is not for other drivers. It is for himself. Every time that engine screams down the street, some old wound gets a small, temporary bandage. Attention becomes proof of existence. He is not showing off. He is checking if he still matters. Now watch the muscle car guy, the one obsessed with raw horsepower, big engines, straight lines, brute force over finesse. This is usually a man who grew up believing that softness gets you hurt.
Somewhere, being gentle did not work out for him. Maybe it was a father who respected strength and dismissed emotion. Maybe it was a moment where vulnerability got laughed at. So now, power becomes armor. The car is loud, heavy, aggressive, because he needs to feel like force is still on his side. Underneath the roaring engine is a very simple, very human fear. The fear of feeling weak again.
This is not aggression for its own sake. It is a nervous system that learned safety equals dominance, so it keeps recreating that feeling every single time he presses the gas. Fear does not always look like fear. Sometimes it sounds like an engine. Then there is the exotic car collector, the man surrounded by things that shine, but somehow still seems empty when the cameras stop rolling.
This is often someone chasing a feeling that used to come naturally and now has to be manufactured. Maybe success came fast, but meaning did not come with it. The brain has something called a hedonic set point, a baseline of happiness it always drifts back to no matter what you buy. He upgrades the car every year, not because the last one broke, but because the excitement broke first. He is not addicted to cars. He is addicted to the 10 minutes of aliveness he feels the day he signs the paperwork. After that, the object goes quiet. And so does he, until the next purchase resets the clock. This is a person still searching for the high that used to come from simply being proud of himself, back before achievement got expensive. Compare that to the off-road guy, the one who takes his truck through mud, rock, and rain just to feel something real.
This one is different. This one is not performing for anyone. He drives 2 hours out of the city just to get stuck in dirt on purpose. Underneath this is usually a person exhausted by how controlled modern life has become. Everything today is scheduled, filtered, optimized. So he goes and finds discomfort on purpose, because discomfort reminds the body it is alive. This is not recklessness, it is regulation.
Getting the truck stuck and having to think fast, get dirty, get frustrated, and solve it with his hands gives his nervous system something it rarely gets anymore, which is a real problem with a real solution. Not an email, not a notification. Mud that needs a shovel. Some people don't want ease. They want proof they can survive. Then, quietly, in the middle of all these loud personalities, there is the daily driver purist. The guy with a completely stock car. No mods, no drama, just clean and reliable. People assume he simply does not care about cars. That is usually wrong. This is often someone who has learned, sometimes painfully, that stability is rare and worth protecting. Maybe his childhood had too much unpredictability, too many arguments, too many sudden changes. So now, as an adult, a car that starts every morning without failing becomes something deeply comforting. It is not about horsepower.
It is about consistency. In a world that constantly breaks promises, a car that simply works every single day without asking for attention becomes an anchor. This is not a lack of passion. It is quiet gratitude wearing the shape of a bumper-to-bumper stock vehicle. And then there is the tuner guy, always upgrading, always tweaking, never finished. New turbo, new tune, new exhaust, endlessly chasing the next improvement. This person often struggles with something deeper than cars, something closer to never feeling fully finished himself. Somewhere he absorbed the idea that he is only valuable when he is improving. Rest feels like falling behind. So the car becomes a mirror of his own self-worth, always almost good enough, always one modification away from complete. This is the same mental pattern seen in people who cannot stop working, cannot stop optimizing themselves.
Cannot simply sit still and enjoy what they already built. The car is never actually finished because on some level, he is scared that if it is finished, he has to ask what he is actually chasing. Notice something now. None of these men are talking about cars anymore. They are describing wounds, fears, comforts, and identities, using metal and paint as the language. Because talking about horsepower is easier than talking about pain. This is where it gets bigger than cars. Every human being does this in some form. Some people use cars. Others use gym numbers, job titles, follower counts, or relationships to feel something they cannot name directly. The object changes. The emotional engine underneath stays exactly the same. Human beings rarely chase the thing itself. They chase the feeling they believe the thing will finally give them. Safety, power, identity, proof that they exist and matter. This is why the man from the beginning sits in his garage at 6 a.m. saying nothing. He is not looking at a car. He is looking at the only version of himself the world has ever fully accepted without conditions. The engine does not judge him. The paint does not leave. The garage does not ask him to be someone else. Underneath every loud exhaust, every polished hood, every stubborn Sunday spent under a car with grease on both hands is the same universal human need. To be seen, to feel powerful, to feel safe, to feel finished, to feel like something in this world finally makes sense, even if it is just one machine parked quietly in the dark. So before you laugh at the loud exhaust, or judge the guy who never mods his car, or roll your eyes at the one polishing his tires for the third time this week, ask yourself something far more uncomfortable. What is the thing you turn to, without even noticing, just to feel okay again?